Today, we're jumping into one of the biggest debates in economics, the constant push and pull between government control and the free market. Now, this isn't some dusty old textbook theory. Oh no, this is a tug of war that shapes pretty much everything in our daily lives. So, let's get right into it.
Just for a second, think about your day so far. From the moment your alarm went off to right now, how many times has the government had a hand in what you're doing? Often in ways you don't even see. I bet the answer's way higher than you'd guess. I mean, it is literally everywhere. The road you took to get to work or college, that's government infrastructure. That little bit of tax on your sandwich at lunch, government revenue. The safety standards that mean your phone probably won't explode in your pocket? Yep, government again. Even the quality of the water that comes out of your tap, or the minimum wage you earned at your first job, all of these are direct fingerprints of government intervention in the economy.
Okay, so what's the big idea behind all of this? It's not just a bunch of random rules thrown together. Governments are actually working from a pretty specific playbook, a list of core goals they're trying to achieve for the country. Let's peek at that to-do list, shall we?
And right away, you can see just how massive the scope is here. On one hand, you've got the huge economic picture. Things like keeping people in jobs, making sure prices don't spiral out of control, and boosting national growth. But on the other hand, you have all these social goals, like creating a fairer society, providing healthcare, and protecting the environment. It is a huge, huge balancing act.
So, to hit all those ambitious targets, a government can't just cross its fingers and hope for the best. It needs actual tools, right? Real methods to get in there and influence things. Let's open up that toolkit and see what they're working with.
It really boils down to four main tools. First up, taxes. That's the money coming in, the fuel for the entire engine. Then you have spending, which is where that money goes, to fund public services and support people. Third, you've got laws and regulations, basically setting the rules of the game for everyone. And finally, sometimes the government just steps in and does the job itself by running state-owned companies to provide essential services.
Now let's just stick with taxes for a moment, because not all taxes are created equal. They basically come in two very different flavors. A progressive tax, like the income tax you pay from your salary, is designed to take a bigger slice from those who earn more. It's all about redistributing wealth. But then you have a regressive tax, like that or a sales tax. It's a flat rate on things you buy, which means it actually takes a much larger percentage of a low-income person's budget compared to a high-income person's.
So where does some of that tax money go? Well, a big chunk goes to something called transfer payments. This is a key term you'll hear a lot. It's basically when the government gives money directly to people, think job seekers benefit or a children's allowance, without getting a specific good or service back in return. It's a direct form of spending aimed squarely at social welfare.
All right, so we know why the government gets involved and we know how they do it. But here's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is all of this intervention actually good for the economy? For us? This is where the debate gets really fiery.
This slide really lays out the two sides of the coin. On one hand, supporters will tell you that government action is absolutely vital. It attracts foreign investment, it provides things the market won't, and it creates that all-important social safety net. But on the other hand, critics argue that too much involvement just kills the entrepreneurial spirit, creates massive inefficiencies, and demotivates workers. So the pro-intervention argument is really about protection. The idea is that the state is a vital safety net. It's there to catch us when we fall and to step in when the free market, if just left to its own devices, fails to provide essential things for everybody. But the counter-argument, it's that all this helping actually acts like a giant anchor, weighing the whole economy down. It can discourage the risk-taking and fresh ideas that really drive growth, and it often comes with a mountain of paperwork and bureaucracy, what we all know and love as red tape. Okay, let's zoom in on one of the most controversial tools in that government toolkit, regulation. This is all about the rules, the do's and don'ts that businesses and all of us have to follow. So why do we even need all these rules? Well, the official goals are pretty noble. They're designed to fix problems the free market can't solve on its own, to protect us as consumers and workers, and to make sure we have public goods like parks and streetlights that benefit everyone. But it's not like there's one single office called the Regulation Department making all this stuff up. No, it's a massive, sprawling network of different agencies and official bodies, each in charge of its own little corner of the world. The scale of it is actually pretty wild. You've got agencies looking at the biggest possible picture, like the Environmental Protection Agency, trying to safeguard the entire planet.
And then you've got them focused on things that are incredibly personal, like the Food Safety Authority, making sure the dinner on your plate is safe to eat. And, of course, everything in between, like the Road Safety Authority, working to make our journeys safer. And trust me, these are just a tiny handful of examples from a huge web of rulemakers.
But here is the major catch. Following all of these rules isn't free. It costs businesses a ton of money to comply with all the safety, environmental, and other standards. And where does that cost usually end up? Well, it often gets passed straight along to us, the consumers, in the form of higher prices for goods and services.
And that really brings us back to the fundamental question at the heart of all this. Is all this government intervention a vital safety net that protects us from chaos, or has it become an overbearing nanny state that suffocates innovation and just costs us all too much? Finding that perfect balance is the puzzle that economists, politicians, and frankly all of us are trying to solve every single day. So where do you think we should draw the line?